Have to let that soak a little bit. I need to put that on something besides jet cone. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. I'm going to root some roses cuttings. I'm almost I couldn't afford it, but I've been told that ow, I've been told that you can, like you see, go to this grocery store. The other day when I was in Publix, had all these beautiful long stem roses in there, and I have been told that you can buy a bouquet of them things, and you can root every one of those roses. And some of them were beautiful. The only thing I don't like about those roses like that, they have no smell. And now, that won't work. That won't work. Well, I can put it in here. I can put it, yeah, you can root those things. And whenever I've got a spare well, I was wondering if you could go to a florist shop and just buy one or two roses, rather than the whole bouquet. I'm gonna that's got no leaves on it, but it will still take. And this one, trim that just a little bit. Ouch, boy, these thorns is tough. I'm gonna put these all in one pot. That's the way Mike Kincaid did his. Oh man, these things are sharp. And supposedly these wherever when you break a thorn off like that, you're leaving a wound on that, and the wound is where the roots come out at when you're trying to root them, and that's all right. There, that's going in there, and what I'll do, I'm gonna mix a 50-50 mix of soil and coconut coir to put in that. Wow. Can you see that brick down there? Look at that. How much that thing swelled up. And when it swells up like that, boy, it's yeah, it's coming apart. It's coming apart. I love this stuff. I'm wearing my camera on my chest today, so I'm hoping I get better angles at what I'm doing. But when I'm cutting, when this bush goes dormant, I'm gonna take it out of this pot. But as you can see, I got these long stems. I can get 1, 2, 3. I can get 4 cuttings off of this stem, and I can get about 4 off of this stem. And when these roses get done blooming up there, they're buds right now. I will cut this back, and then I'm gonna put this rose bush in a pot all by itself. But those out there that she planted, they're not getting long stems on them for me to take any cuttings. You know what? I'm starting to make me a compost pile. I'm gonna get me a couple of buckets, And what I'm doing, I don't know if y'all can see this or not. What I'm doing, I'm cutting this stuff up into smaller pieces. And it makes it compost faster. I'm going to get a bucket and start making some bucket. I got left word in the kitchen there in the house that they need to start saving all the vegetable scraps. I don't want no meats or no dairy products, but I want I'm not throwing no vegetated stuff away anymore. And I got a lot of stuff in there. Alright, now it's a start. And even cardboard, you can take cardboard. Cardboard will compost. However, if you use cardboard, you need to take like this. I'll be cutting this up, but you need to take stuff like these labels and tape. That needs to come off. It needs to come off because it doesn't decompose like the cardboard. Now some of these labels will, but I don't think this will. Alright, that's ready. But this stuff, that tape, it doesn't decompose, but the cardboard does. So that you'd be surprised. There's a lot of things that you can decompose, and I'm going to start. Well, no, I ain't neither. I started selling decompose something else, and stuff like this. And I don't know what this hemorrhoidal ointment is doing out. Now this will decompose. That's going in the house. What is that doing out here? Hemorrhoidal ointment. My grandson uses that. Now this will decompose. Just check it, see if there's any plastic, but there's no plastic on it, so well dang, why is that? These scissors usually cut this stuff good. Well, something's not right there. What's going on with that? I can wet it. Wow, that goes with that. I guess. I know what that is. Alright, I'll just put that in there and I'll wet it a little bit. Now, I'm going to set this right there. I'm going to set this up here where I can reach it. And you can see that, how that breaks up. Does really nice, and I love this stuff. But a lot of people think this coconut core has nutrients in it, but it doesn't. It almost, well, it might have a small, very small percentage of nutrients, but it doesn't. It doesn't have. Don't think you get a lot of nutrients out of that, because you're not. Folks, I'm not an expert, but I know a little bit of stuff. And you can see this is going to make a wonderful medium to root my roses in. It's going to make a wonderful medium. Now, I will be putting a little bit of coffee grounds in this, but for the most part, it's going to be 50% soil and 50% coconut core. That's going to be my rooting compound. Yes, makes wonderful stuff. Now, let me get a now put that soil right there. What was that racket? I'm gonna mix this up right good right here, and this is what I'm gonna okay, there we go. Put that right there. Put that right there. Now, that's going to be my thing. Now, when I get my rose cutting stuck in there, I'm going to put the dome on it just like that. Now, that's how Mike Kincaid did his. So I didn't, on those up there, I didn't follow his instructions. I put them in small, one to each container, and then a small bottle for the dome. But this here, let's see, there's my rooting hormone. And Mike Kincaid said when he didn't punch holes in the dirt like a lot of people do. Say you knock off a lot of the hormone when you do that, but he said not really. Now, so there's 4 cuttings in there. I hope you can see that. Bailey! Bailey! Shut up! I have people say not to tell my dog to shut up. But now I need to water that real good. Let's see. I'll set it in here. And turn that on just a little bit. Okay. Well, dang, what am I running over? Daggone electric cord. Okay. Stand up. I'll set this right over here. And Mike Kincaid says these systems, these bottles like this, so there you go. There you go. The only thing about these cuttings that I'm doing here is it concerns me look how the stem has turned black. And I don't know if that's a bad sign or not. I can give it a little tug and it feels like it's got roots. But you know what? I think I'm gonna cover that up just a little bit with some coconut coir. I don't know. Now I hadn't looked. I haven't looked at any of the others. There's a frog. Let me take a little gander here. I just lost the lid there. Alright, I don't think this one's gonna make it. That thing's totally black. Can y'all see that? You know what? I'm thinking this is not gonna make it. So just for the heck of it, I'm gonna dump that out. And nope, that's totally ruined. That'll go in my compost. Totally ruined. So, I'm gonna look at these others. Alright, I know what that is. That's not a rose. Oh my goodness. Turning totally black. It's not doing nothing. Well, shoot. Some people say I got a green thumb, but you know what? That's not making it. And I was pretty smug about that. I thought I was doing good. Now this one looks very healthy. And it's not turning black or nothing. And I'm tugging on a little bit. It feels like it's got a hold in there. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a little bit of core around that. Yeah, this one looks good. So what did I do? This one's going back under the dome. This one looks good. So I kind of got a success rate there a little bit. You know what? I'm going to put a little bit of dirt around that. Yeah, these are perfect systems, you know, when you're trying to root stuff. And that one looks good. Let me check this one. Oh, I already checked that one. Okay. Now, these are crepe myrtles, and look how nice they look and everything. They've been in here a while, and they got roots on them. I can tell just by trying to tug one out. But why ain't I got a lid on that one? I like to put lids on these things. Those are crepe myrtles. I'm pretty sure they're either crepe myrtles or azaleas. They might be azaleas. But I'll tell you, this rooting stuff, now these are golden dewdrops that I cut off of some rootings that I started, and they got kind of big, and I want them others to bush out more, so I'm trying to root these, and I keep them under a dome. This here, oh yeah, that's got roots. Can you see that? This is a gardenia, so that'll be ready to plant soon. This one here, it may grow roots and it may not, but right now, I got a lot going on. And this one here, this is that rose that I rooted in plain water, and now them roots is kind of a brownish color. They were white, and I decided to put it in dirt, and that's when it started looking bad. I should have left it in the water a while longer. But anyhow, that's what's going on the back 40. I'm going to go for a walk now. I want to go around here and look at my, what did I do with my, I don't know what I did with my razor knife. I don't know. I got a little story. I guess I was 8 or 9 years old. Trying to think. That had to be about 1948, 1949. And there was this little girl, and boys back then at my age, they didn't care for, they didn't want to be around girls, they didn't like them, they didn't want nothing to do with them, but I was kind of the opposite. This girl, her name was Betty Gay, and I really liked her. And we lived in Broad Creek Village. This was a government housing project that a lot of people that worked, during the war and stuff, like my dad worked at the shipyard, and they rented these houses, apartments, to people. And also a lot of Navy personnel lived in there too. But Betty Gay's house was about 4 blocks from my house. And I went over there one afternoon. This was after school. And I was playing with her and everything. And I lost track of the time. And it was getting dark. And eventually her mama made her come in, and she told me I need to go on home. And now it was dark. And her house wasn't like a straight 4 blocks down the street. It was go down a block, turn a block, then you turn another block. And I started walking home, and I was kind of a scaredy in the dark. You know, I was one of them fellas that'd be walking in the dark, and I'd be whistling like that was going to scare away anything that was going to hurt me. But I couldn't figure out, I couldn't see. You know, if I could see the house, I would know which way to go home. And it, uh, I went down 1 block, and then the next thing I knew, I was in this area that didn't look, I was lost. I was lost. And I knew when I got home I was going to be in deep doo-doo, because you never stayed out past dark. And you never went more than right there in your block to play and stuff. And I done went all this distance. Well, it's 4 blocks. I remember it was down a block, over another block, down another block. And eventually I wound right back up at Betty Gay's house. And by then, I was crying. And the reason I knew it was Betty Gay's house, because there was a bike and some other things that we'd been playing around with and stuff there in the yard. And I could see them, and the porch light was on, and I went and knocked on the door, and her daddy come to the door. And I think I asked him if he could ask Betty which street I was supposed to go down, and I was crying, and there stood Betty, seeing this big, strong, macho boy crying like a baby. And uh, he said, "Well, where do you live?" And I was trying to tell him, "Well, what's, you know, your address?" Well, I knew my address. My address was 1331 North Woodlawn Avenue. So, he took me home. He didn't have a car. He had to walk me. But he knew where North Woodlawn Avenue was. And as we got close to my house, I could hear people walking around hollering, "Mackey, Mackey!" They was looking for me. And they was close to calling the police. Oh my gosh. And back then, if a kid got lost, this car, well, it wasn't a car, it was like a little panel truck. It had a big loudspeaker on the top of it, and they'd drive around the neighborhood saying lost child, you know, and his name's so and so, and wanting people to know if they seen him, and said they went around and did that in the neighborhood. That happened a lot, and it got me home. And my mom was just dang near. I don't know why she didn't go. She was going to whip my butt, but she didn't. And the next day at school, I was embarrassed. I was dreading seeing Betty because she seen me crying like a baby. She seen me crying like a baby. But when she seen me, she went up there and she grabbed my hand and asking me was I okay. And that was even more embarrassing, you know. Oh my goodness. And then a couple days later, that little girl, dadgone her time, she done found another boyfriend. And we wasn't really well, we kind of, it was unspoken, but she liked me and I liked her. But maybe she didn't want somebody that was a crybaby. I don't know. But that didn't matter, because I found another girl that just lived across the court from me, and her name was Sheila Watson. And I got to see her crying like a baby one time. She was getting a spanking. Almost for the same thing. She was over at our house playing, and it was getting dark, and she hadn't went home. And I remember when her parents come over there, man, they was switching her little butt all the way to the house, and she was crying. Oh my goodness. That had to be 48 or 49. Let's see. In 51 I was 10, and that Mother's Day is in 51 is when my mama abandoned us, three of us kids. She took two with her, but so that had to be the year before them. Maybe it was 19. No, it was 49, because I remember I was 8. I was 8. But I got another story about a time I was with this girl, but that's another story. But this time I wasn't nobody out looking. Well, that's another story, and that's about Diane Scott. Boy, I love that girl. Okay, I guess that's it for this video, folks. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Sometimes I wonder, well, I wish all the time that I could see people from back in those days, like Betty Gay and Diane Scott and Sheila Watson. I wish, and Hadley Oven, and Hubert Harrell, and all them people that I was friends with pre-1950, but I can't find any of them. I found some of them, but none that went back to when I was pre-10 years old. Lot of memories, folks. Some of them, are sad memories, but I tell my sad ones too, you know. But anyway, that's my story, folks, and I'm sticking to it, and I'll catch you in the next one. And what is today? Today is Thursday. Yeah, I'll see you later. Adios, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye, sayonara. And how do you say goodbye in Spanish? What's hasta la vista? I don't think that's goodbye. I'd like to learn another language if I thought I could wrap my brain around it. I would love to learn it and be able to read it and write it and spell the words. But I don't know if I could or not. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Love every one of yous. Of yous or you'uns or y'all. See you in the next one.